Welcome to this explainer by Forge College. I'm your host, and today we're taking a massive leap forward in our capstone course on building ecosystem-integrated Solana dApps. In our previous lesson, we absolutely conquered writing reliable integration tests. We learned exactly how to lock down our state, use deterministic fixtures, and write tests that we can actually trust. You put in the hard work to make your test suite perfectly predictable, and now, well, it's time to reap the rewards. Today, we are diving into automating integration tests. We're going to take that rock-solid test suite of yours and hand it over to a system that runs it automatically, continuously, and perfectly every single time.
So let's be real for a second here. Are you tired of running integration tests manually? Because we've all been there. It's 3 a.m., you've just made a quote-unquote tiny harmless change to your smart contract, and now you're just staring unblinkingly at your terminal. You're hitting the up arrow, smashing enter, and holding your breath, just praying for that green check mark. It's exhausting, it's totally prone to human error, and frankly, it just doesn't scale. What you need right now isn't more caffeine. You need a relentless, uncomplaining robot butler. You need a system that constantly watches your every move and automatically runs your tests in the background so you can, actually get some sleep.
Here's the blueprint we're sketching out today. 1. Meet your robot. 2. Setting CI triggers. 3. Test environments. 4. Runner scripts. 5. Taming flaky tests. And finally, 6. Collecting artifacts.
All right, Section 1. Meet your automation robot.
Let's start with the absolute core component of our architectural blueprint and officially meet your new best friend. A CI, or continuous integration pipeline, is exactly that. It's an automated sequence of scripts that builds, tests, and validates your code on every single change you make. Now, here's the crucial takeaway. You can only automate what is predictable. Because you already did the heavy lifting in our last lesson to make your tests deterministic, removing race conditions, strictly managing your setup and teardown state, you can now confidently hand those tests off to a CI pipeline. This pipeline scales your testing and absolutely crushes regressions by ensuring that every new line of code is mercilessly interrogated by a robot butler before it ever gets near production.
Moving on to Section 2, setting up CI triggers. Obviously, a robot is pretty useless if it just stands in the corner powered off. We need to install the sensors. We have to map out exactly how and when this machine wakes up to do its job. And this is all about balancing speed with security. You really don't want to run a massive hour-long test suite every single time you fix a typo. That just wastes compute time and completely kills developer momentum. Instead, we map specific repository events to specific testing scopes. So on a simple push to a feature branch, our robot runs a quick subset of smoke tests just to make sure nothing is fundamentally broken. When you open a pull request to merge into the main branch, the robot wakes up fully and runs the entire integration suite. And finally, on a schedule, like a nightly cron job, it runs the heaviest, full regression scenarios to catch those obscure edge cases while you're asleep.
Section 3. Provisioning the test environment.
So the robot knows exactly when to work. Now we have to give it a place to work. We need to provision the test environment, and honestly, this is where a lot of Web3 developers stumble. In the Web3 world, your code doesn't just run in a vacuum, it interacts with a live blockchain. To avoid the absolute nightmare of environment drift, where tests pass perfectly on your laptop but inexplicably fail in the cloud, we use what's called an ephemeral test validator. Let's break down that jargon for a second. Ephemeral literally just means short-lived. It is an isolated temporary Solana node created locally right inside your CI runner. It spins up, processes your tests, and gets completely destroyed a few seconds later. It is the ultimate clean slate for every single run.
Now, you generally have two choices for this environment. You can use the local solana-test-validator or connect out to a shared devnet. The local validator is incredibly fast and highly reproducible. It's perfect for about 95% of your tests where you just need to verify isolated account state. The shared devnet, on the other hand, gives you live network features, which is awesome if you need to test cross-program integrations with existing protocols. But it comes at a steep cost, much longer test runs, and potential network instability. This perfectly illustrates why, for most CI pipelines, the local ephemeral validator is the absolute gold standard for reliability.
Section 4. Building the runner script.
We have our triggers, and we have our workshop. Let's actually assemble the engine itself. The runner script. This is the script that orchestrates the entire life cycle of our ephemeral environment. This logical sequence of gears turning is the literal heart of your automation. First, we start the validator in reset mode, again, strictly enforcing that clean slate. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, we wait for RPC readiness. If you fire off tests before the node is actually listening, the whole thing crashes.
Third, we run the tests with a strict timeout so a hanging process doesn't burn through all your CI minutes. Fourth, we collect the logs. And finally, we safely shut the validator down. In bash scripting, we wrap all of this in a brilliant safety check called set-euo pipefail. This ensures that if any single command fails or uses an unbound variable, the whole script stops immediately. This prevents those terrifying silent failures where a test actually failed, but the pipeline happily reports a pass.
Section 5. Taming flaky tests.
Now I've got to be honest with you. Even with a local validator and perfectly deterministic state, you are operating in a distributed systems environment. Timing assumptions happen. Network stutters happen. We have to address the inevitable reality of flaky tests. A flaky test is one that fails intermittently without any actual changes to the code. They are the sworn enemy of trust in a CI pipeline. To tame them, we don't just blindly rerun the whole suite. That is a massive waste of compute power. Instead, we implement targeted retries. If a specific test fails due to a transient error, we retry it using exponential backoff, waiting 1 second, then 2, then 4, giving the system a moment to recover. We also isolate known flaky tests with tags so we can handle them with special care. In our Forge College courses, we really emphasize these precise retry strategies because they literally save developers hundreds of hours of debugging ghost errors.
Almost there. Section 6. Collecting artifacts and reports.
Okay, so our robot butler has done its job. But when it finishes, especially if something went wrong, we don't just want it to say, "I failed." We want the receipts. When a CI run goes red, a mysterious X on your dashboard is totally useless. We need diagnostic artifacts. Your runner script must be configured to output JUnit-style XML reports, which most CI platforms can parse to show you exactly which test failed and its stack trace. You also absolutely need the raw RPC transaction traces and the full validator logs dumped into a downloadable folder. With these receipts in hand, a CI failure is no longer some frustrating mystery. It's an immediately actionable bug report.
If you take away only one principle from our blueprint today, let it be this golden rule of DevOps. Treat the test environment as code. You should be able to run your exact CI runner script right there on your local laptop and get the exact same result. Total predictability. No magic cloud variables, no hidden dependencies. The provisioning must be completely identical.
By wiring up your deterministic tests to a CI pipeline with ephemeral environments and strict artifact collection, your code is now protected by a relentless automated guardian. But I want you to ask yourself, if your pipeline went entirely red today, would your team know exactly how to read the receipts and fix the engine, or would they just blindly hit retry and pray? Well, in our next lesson, we'll tackle exactly that, debugging integration failures. To get your hands on these exact YAML configurations, bash scripts, and to dive way deeper into this blueprint, you've got to visit forge.college to learn more about the subject and explore our extensive Web3 content. Thank you so much for joining this explainer made by Forge College, and I'll see you in the next one.